Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Reese number 775G. This is a piece of, weather stripping. I mean, what it really is, sorry about the lights, what it really is simply a piece of gasketing that is classified as a type of weather stripping called hardware compatible. Okay. In essence, it's just simply a big hunk of extruded aluminum. That's all it is. It has a profile to it to insert the insert. And that's it. Now, where would you use a hardware compatible piece of weather stripping? Well, that's a great question. You hardly ever see this material because... maybe it's because people don't spend the money for it, I suppose. But think of a commercial door where you have an exit device or an exit device and a door closer. Think of your standard weather stripping. The exit device, assuming it's a rim exit device or a surface vertical rod and a pair of doors, you have the strike applied right to the face of the soffit of the frame, the 2 3/4, or whatever the dimension is. As the weather stripping runs down, it's going to hit that strike. Well, you can't run it down through the strike. You have to cut the weather stripping and then run another piece below it. Same concept on that same door with a parallel arm mounted door closer. A lot of installations would qualify that as insufficient or maybe even deficient. I actually had a client fail a HUD inspection because the doors were not fully weather stripped. And he who controls makes the rules. And in that scenario, for that public housing, HUD controls. And those openings failed because they weren't thoroughly weather stripped. That's very unusual to have a door fail for that necessarily. But if you have an opening where you were weather stripping it for either loss of, heat or air conditioning, or the infiltration of particulate insects in the American Southwest, people need to be careful when they put their feet into their boots, because there might be something in there. So when we sell people door sweeps in that part of the United States, they're trying to keep out scorpions and whatnot, snakes. Florida as well, snakes will get into the house. Up north, of course, we're just trying to keep the brutal cold out as well. Hardware compatible weather stripping permits you to take that frame, completely run the weather stripping. It's a solid block of aluminum, so what's really elegant is when you miter it at the top of the jamb and at the header so you can get a perfect fit. You then apply your hardware on top of the hardware compatible gasketing for the parallel arm bracket, for possibly the coordinator, for possibly your surface, your rim exit device strikes, your surface vertical rod device strikes. You mount all that to it. The downside is you do need to compensate for any backsets or any templating on your hardware, your installation instructions, where you place the parallel arm bracket and where you template that on the door has now changed by the thickness of this, which is 1/4 inch. Okay. I think also a downside of this material is, and I had read it in a hardware industry specification writer's blog, that an architectural hardware consultant pointed out that this material is not UL listed, or it's not listed for use on fire-rated doors. So and I'm not aware of any that are, although that just means that I'm not aware of any that are. And when I look at the Reese product brochure, actually that's wrong. That's totally wrong. This model, the 755, the 775 is UL listed. What I meant to say was not all of them are. Reese's are UL listed, or at least many of them are. So be mindful that if you're applying this hardware-compatible weather stripping, you can find yourself putting one on that's not UL listed. You don't want any of that action at all. Okay, so I will use hardware-compatible weather stripping when I am doing a high-end installation. I will just specify it. This material happens to be going on a facade in Manhattan near Central Park South and is going to be visually accessible by everyone who enters the building. And it needs to look good, and it needs to operate as well. So that's why we go with hardware compatible, and we're adjusting our templating for the back set of the grade 1 rim exit device to compensate for this. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. Now, there is a link, there is an image down below this video that shows the important dimensional properties of this item. And you can see that the aluminum itself is 1.5 inches by 1/4 inch. Okay, great. And that's what this is. Now, to the insert material, you're dealing with about 1.75 inches. Okay. Before I get to the real impressive part of this material, it's available in 4 finishes: mill finish aluminum, clear anodized aluminum, dark bronze anodized aluminum, gold anodized. This is obviously the G finish. It's a beautiful gold anodized. And what's really great about Reese is their material looks pristine in almost all instances. There's no scratches. There's no marks. This stuff hasn't been sitting on a shelf for 5 years collecting dust. Reese is almost always exceptional in that regard. And they are substantially better in that department than other far larger companies that sell weather stripping. Now, the really awesome thing about the 775G is the insert, the polyurethane. Polyurethane is the most incredibly high-performance insert that you can purchase, period, end of sentence. There is vinyl, pile, neoprene, silicone. There's other variants of that stuff, but it's either silicone or neoprene. Then there's polyurethane. The hallmark of this material is that it is incredibly abrasion resistant, tear resistant, does not foster the growth of fungus, mildew, bacteria at all. And as a result, and of course, very high performance envelope for temperature ratings. When you take its ability to handle temperature, when you take its ability to tolerate abrasion, like in a door sweep, there's really no other material to use. If you're going to use something high performance, like hardware compatible weather stripping, to throw a piece of vinyl in there, I'm not sure why you would do that. So that's the hallmark of polyurethane. Reese does a great job with polyurethane. They have more of it available in their standard product line than anyone, and that is my go-to product. When I'm doing high-end, I want it to look great, perform great, last forever, stand behind it. And that's why I use Reese. So you've got those 4 different finish options. One is unfinished, the other 3 finishes. You have the link below this video to the product catalog that will show you all of the other hardware compatible pieces of gasketing. And what you're really going to notice is that they're basically all the same size. You just simply have variations of the insert, which does modify how you prep the material for the insert, how it's machined differently. Some applications will call for different material. Vinyl has its place, neoprene has its place, silicone has its place, vinyl, I already said vinyl has its place. If you want the highest performance overall, polyurethane would give that to you. So there are 2 types that are there, and they even show an idea of what it looks like when you install it when using the parallel arm door closer concept as an illustration there. Again, you've got to account for the thickness of the material and then adjust your templating accordingly is what you have to do. Listed in the website in lots of different lengths. If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces, and we'll be happy to oblige. I can't really see you getting around having to possibly trim it a little bit. And I would really want to miter it myself in the field. These are sent out without any holes at all. You're going to drill these right in the field to your frame. And speaking of that, screws are included, but you will have to drill this, get it through the opening, get it through the hardware-compatible weather stripping, and then install it. Screws are included. They are not prepping this material for holes in the shop before they ship it. The advantage of ordering at a custom length is maybe you'll save the trouble of having to cut it in the field, although unlikely. But the advantage would be, of course, that you get a very clean factory finish on that. The insert's always going to run long, and you'll trim that with a utility blade. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Reese products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. I use Reese unless I am forced into a position where I can't, based on a client specification, in all instances where I'm dealing with a complicated, expensive, highly detailed opening where the client says, solve my problem. Reese is my go-to because the extrusions are generally thicker than everybody else's. The finish that I had mentioned earlier is always exceptional. They're dark bronze on aluminum. If you are doing a job where you need to match 613 or a true oil rub bronze finish, no one's finish matches 613 better than Reese at all. And that is a good thing in lots of instances. Obviously, when you're matching oil rub bronze, it's a bad thing when you're trying to match something that's incredibly dark like black. Some manufacturers are in the middle of dark bronze. It's a good dark bronze. There's another manufacturer who's dark bronze, a couple of them, but they're practically black. You would say it's black unless you held it up to something that's truly black, and you'd then tell the difference. Reese is not going to work in those black matched instances because it's far too light. It's more akin to oil rub bronze. So be mindful. If you're trying to match a black or an incredibly dark, Reese would not be the best option. But when you're running oil rub bronze, a true 613 finish, it's really gorgeous. Their people are phenomenal. You never really need to get past customer service. Their shipping lead times are incredibly prompt, reliable, and predictable. If you have any questions on the Reese 775G, hardware-compatible weather stripping, or any other Reese product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.